Hello everyone, welcome into another episode of the Coach KJ Carousel Dynasty. This week, Carter Jake Jr. and the Florida Gators are taking on the number 5 Auburn Tigers. They come into this game with a 6-0 record, looking to continue their perfect start to the season. Florida, meanwhile, comes in ranked number 15 in the nation with a 5-1 record. They've had a pretty good start to their year, but if they want to continue to compete for the SEC championship, they have to win this one or else they're basically eliminated from contention. So, Florida's going to start off with the ball, and Jack Garola is your quarterback. He has 11 touchdowns, 4 picks, 312 rushing yards, and he added another 4 touchdowns on the ground. He's been really good for the Gators. He didn't finish last week's game, but luckily he'll be back in this one. Now, taking a look at our skill positions, we have Quantel Johnson at running back. He gets basically all the carries, and at receiver, it's Harrison Wallace III leading the way. I would say he's probably our top target. Maybe Emmanuel Henderson can make a case for that as well. Kyle Hinder, the tight end, makes a reception here, and he ends up picking up 9 yards, getting the Gators a first down. That's a pretty good way to begin your day. At least we didn't go 3 and out. Now we go to Quantel Johnson, and he's going to go backwards on that play. He ends up losing a yard. Auburn's defense stepped up and made a good play. So we line up in the pistol, and we go right back to Quantel Johnson, and this time he's going to pick up 6 yards. That's a solid play. We don't have any injuries, however. Looking at Auburn, they have a ton. They have 4 people injured. One of them may play today, but 3 of them probably won't. So Garola's on the move here on 3rd and 5, and he slides and doesn't get the first down. That's going to bring up a 4th and 2, and we go for it right around midfield. Jack Garola gets on the move, and he throws it, and that's Malik Mega coming down with it and going out of bounds after picking up 5. So this week, we're going to wear a unique uniform combination. We have black helmets paired with black pants, and blue socks, blue shoes, and the blue uniform on top. Now, the thing about these uniforms is I was hoping to wear these for the game right around November 11th for Veterans Day, kind of like what Billy Napier wants to do in real life. However, I kind of screwed it up and didn't pay attention. We had another game closer to that time frame, so we ended up wearing them a little bit early, and look at that catch by Harrison Wallace III. That should have been an interception. That was a beautiful 12-yard pickup. Wow. Now, back to what I was talking about. Either way, I decided that for that game, it would have been the South Carolina game. I decided instead to just go ahead, wear our normal uniforms then, and then I wore black uniforms later in the season to kind of make up for my mistake. Either way, I'm going to do stuff like this. We're going to get some unique combinations, and I just want to talk about the uniforms because they're different as we're driving down the field. Quantel Johnson loses 2 there, bringing up a 3rd and goal. We need a touchdown here. It's Auburn, they're a top 5 team. Jack Garola throws it, and we get Malik Mega. He only picks up 4. Do we go for it, or do we kick the field goal? My gut says we should probably go for it. Yes, we do. This is the right call, and I know it. The pitch somehow gets out there to Quantel Johnson. What a play by Jack Garola. There is no way that pitch should have made it out there. Wow. That's a touchdown. Florida's up 7-0. Auburn's quarterback's Robbie Ashford. He's a Heisman candidate. Like I said at the end of the last episode, he's number 2 in the nation in the Heisman voting. So right now, he's having a fantastic season. We're going to have a hard time competing and stopping him, but we got to do our best to contain him. And it's up to our D line. And our freshman, J.J. White's a big part of that, along with Justice Boone on the other side. Up the middle, we need Chris McClellan and Stuart McCaffrey to really step up and control the line of scrimmage, so that way he can't get free. And unfortunately, look at this play. He gets free early on 2nd and 10, and that's a big pickup at 24. That's exactly why I need these guys to step up and stop him. I know that's harder said than done, but we got to find a way to do it, and our D-line has to. They have to do it. As they go to the ground game, they hand it off to Rom, and he goes down for a 3-yard loss. What a big play by Rashad Johnson, our sophomore redshirt safety. So they go to Talu Fuss, who is either their backup running back or a fullback. I don't remember. I believe he might be their backup running back. Either way, he remains in the game for this play, and Ashford's going to throw it, and he finds Ross for a first down on 3rd and 5. He ends up picking up 12. The Tigers clearly happy about that one. So they decide to send the receiver in motion across the formation to the right and run speed option with Robbie Ashford, and he pitches it out there to Rhyme, and he has nowhere to go. He ends up losing 3 once again. Justice Boone makes a big play, and that actually brings us to the end of the first quarter already. That was a pretty quick one as Florida's leading at 7-0. However, Auburn is driving, so we do have to pay attention to that. Robbie Ashford stepping up in the pocket and just checks it down to Durazio. That one really didn't go anywhere. He picked up 4. That leaves him with a 3rd and 10. They haven't really been efficient on long plays so far, so Ashford's moving in the pocket. He chucks it deep, and that's broken up and nearly intercepted. Scooby Williams tipped it, and Rashad Johnson almost picked it. So they actually decide to attempt a field goal here, and that was a deep one, and somehow they drilled it and made this score 7-3. What a kick by their kicker, man. Either way, we now have a chance to make it a 2-score game, so let's do it. Jack Garola on 2nd and 4 is running a speed option, and he's going to take that for a first down plus a little bit as he goes for 7, and Garola's going to throw a quick screen to Harrison Wallace III, and that's well blocked, and he gets a first down plus. That's about a 15-yard pickup right there. We're going to pass again with Garola. This time we're going to get him on the move out to the right, and he threw that late to the sideline to Macario Dorba. If he'd have hit that on schedule, that would have gone for much more. Either way, it's 2nd down, and we go to Harrison Wallace III on another screen, and that's just a short 2-yard pickup. So that forces us into a 3rd and 5, and we're going to run it out of the pistol formation, and Garola runs some play action and takes a deep shot to Malik Mega, who can't come down with it. If he could have held on to that, that was a touchdown. So 4th and 5, we're going for it. Jack Garola's getting on the move, scrambling to the right. He just tucks and runs, and he gets the first down. That's everything you could want him to do there. That was kind of a cheap tackle out of bounds. I'm surprised they didn't call it, but it's okay. We'll take it. Quantel Johnson gets a carry, and that's another loss. You got to give a lot of credit to this Auburn defense. They've done a great job of stopping us. However, Garola, once he gets on the move, has been really well, except for right there. That was nearly intercepted by Quincy Gay Jr., which brings us to a 3rd and 11, and Garola just throws it underneath the Gayassi blanks, and he couldn't make a man miss. He picks up just a yard. That forces us into a field goal attempt. That'll be up and good. We nail it. I'm pretty happy with Adam Mahalik. He's been a great kicker for us in this series. Real life, not so good. However, in this one, I've loved him. Auburn comes out in the Wildcat formation, and Talufus pulls it. He's running completely untouched. He's down to the 30, the 20, and he's finally tackled by Miguel Mitchell. That was a huge play to begin this drive for Auburn. And then Robbie Ashford followed that up with a beautiful pass for a touchdown to Camden Brown. Auburn ties this one up at 10. However, Robbie Ashford, as you can see, is now the career passing touchdown leader in Auburn history. He just extended his lead on that play, but it's still pretty cool to know he's been that great for them. Harrison Wallace III gets the first catch on this drive. He went for 4. So on 2nd down, we find Kyle Hinder. That sets us up with a 3rd and short. We come out in pistol. This should be pretty easy to manage here. Garola's on the move, and he just chucks it forward to our fullback, Anthony Alexander, and he gets the first down. Honestly, in that situation, I'd rather see him just run for it. He could have got it. So we decide to keep throwing it. We're getting close to the 2-minute mark, so I get it. Emmanuel Henderson had a pretty good catch there. We go right back to him, and that's a great catch. He tries to step back. It doesn't work in this game like it did in the last one. But, I mean, Auburn's a much better opponent, so that doesn't surprise me. Garola pulls it on a read option. He's trying to get to the edge. He can't quite do it, but he does. He breaks the tackles. He only gets 11, but that was a nice run by our quarterback. So Garola's in the pocket looking to pass, and that should have been an easy catch. That was just a drop by Rashad Johnson. So on the moves, Garola again feeling the pressure from the backside, but he finds Harrison Wallace III, who goes in and flips into the end zone for a touchdown. Florida retakes the lead in this one, 17-10. That was a beautiful play by Harrison Wallace III. He showed some speed, and he had a good route on that. Robbie Ashford and the Tigers take over. He's on the move, and he goes down. That's Shamar James, who was just spying him on that play. That worked perfectly. He only picked up 4. So on 2nd down, they run some motion again. Ashford looking to pass, standing in the pocket, and he has a wide open Riley Ducker for 9 yards and a Tiger first down. We can't allow that to keep happening. This defense has been a little leaky in this game. We need them to step up. Halfback J.D. Prime makes the reception there for 4. So on 2nd down, they decide they're going to pass it, it looks like. But Ashford decides to tuck it and try to run, and we were all over him. He picked up nothing. That was a great play by our defense. Our front 7 did wonderful things on that play. And then they try a QB draw. I don't love that call. It didn't work. We stuffed them. Auburn has to punt the ball back to us. So Jack Garola and the Gators have a chance to get a 2-score lead as Emmanuel Henderson makes a 15-yard grab on the sideline. Malik Mega comes in motion, and we're going to run play action off of him and throw a deep shot that, man, that was just bad. I don't know what happened there. That was just bad. Now we're down to 34 seconds left, and it's 2nd and 10. Garola is going to take another deep shot. That one's well covered as well. We're lucky that didn't get intercepted, honestly. He's got to be a little less reckless with the ball. Now with 28 seconds, it's 3rd down. Just don't turn the ball over, and look at that. As soon as I say it, he throws it right in the coverage, and that's picked off. We pressed way too much to end this half. Honestly, man, I'm disappointed in myself. We gave him possibly a field goal, if not a touchdown opportunity. Rashad Johnson almost came through for us and prevented that from happening, but he didn't hold on. So now it's 2nd and 10, and Ashford's on the move. He tucks and runs, and that's not going to help Auburn out at all. They have to call a timeout. They only have 12 seconds left. They are probably in field goal range, so they do have to play it smart as Ashford's looking to pass, and he throws it to the sideline. That one should have been picked off by Annie Bognam. He just couldn't get his foot down, so they do settle and attempt a 50-yard field goal that once again is drilled. That kicker has a good leg, man. It's 17-13 as we head into halftime. The Gators are working hard to upset the Tigers here. This would be tremendous for our program and Coach KJ. Now let's take a look at some recruiting news. And remember, as always, these are soft commits, so it's not guaranteed. Devin Jeanette committed to Tennessee. He's a 3-star tight end out of Alabama. Next up's Eric Davis, a 4-star receiver. He chose the Gators. That's good news for us. Joseph Allen, a 4-star center's up next. He went to Nebraska out of Michigan. That sucks. Morven Colaquan out of Texas, an outside backer, chose Nebraska as well. That's a little frustrating. And then Aka Cedric Williams, a 3-star outside backer from Oregon, did commit to us. So that's a big gain for us. Now we just need to keep him, and we don't want to lose anybody before National Signing Day. As that kick goes out of the back of the end zone, let's take a look at our halftime stats. Normally I do that before the kickoff, but I forgot this time. We are doing a great job on offense. We have 216 yards. We've held Auburn to only 137 yards. They don't have any turnovers. We do have that one turnover, which definitely hurt us and gave Auburn 3 free points in my opinion. We're killing them in time of possession. We're doing a fantastic job there. I think if we keep this up, we might just be able to pull off the upset. At least that's what I'm hoping for, as Auburn's going to open the second half with the ball, and Rhymes going to take off for 11. He plays on both offense and defense, so he's a big player for them. As they get a pass out there to Brown on a screen, and that's going to go for 8, setting up a short 2nd and 2. I wouldn't be surprised if they run it here as they're motioning their tight end across the formation, and they do hand it to Rhyme, who gets blown up. That's safety Miguel Mitchell on the blitz, who takes him down, forcing a 3rd and 2. Ashford throws it, and he finds his man Kelly, who throws 2 men to the ground for an 11-yard pickup. What a play by Omari Kelly. They decide to run triple option, and Ashford still got it in his hands, and he does not pitch it. I don't like that call. He should have tossed it out there. He was a little greedy looking for yards there. Mitchell took him down. On the next play, we get a sack. That's a big play right there for us. And to be fully transparent, I don't remember who number 91 is, and I accidentally, at the end of this season, didn't save a file so I can look back at the roster. So that's my bad. Now it's 3rd and 13. Auburn has to throw it underneath, and Duffy couldn't hold on anyway. That forces a 4th and 13, and they're lining up in punt formation, and they do punt it. I didn't expect that. With all the fakes we've had against us this year, I was certain they were going to fake it, so I came out and punt safe there, just in case. As we get the ball back, and Rashad Johnson breaks a tackle. He ends up taking that for about 10 yards. He sets us up with a 2nd and inches, and Garola's going to run some play action off of that and get on the move here out to the edge, and he looks like he can get a 1st down, but he stops and pops, and he does. And he probably got more by hitting Gayassi Blanks on that play. That's a huge pickup. What a throw. What a play by Jack Garola. I wasn't sure about that. And Quantel Johnson gets a carry. I realized a couple times in this video I messed his name up. I'll be fully honest with you, I don't know why. I had Rashad Johnson, our safety, on my brain, and for some reason it just stuck and I kept calling Quantel Rashad. So I'm sorry about that. That's my bad. However, I don't know why Gayassi Blank spun like 6 times on that play, but it worked. We got a 1st down. On the next play though, Denzel Hudson ends up losing 2 as he checks in. We run play action off of him. He remains in the game, and we go to David Hester underneath for about 11 yards. That was a nice play, setting up a 3rd and short. Quantel's back in the game, and we run play action off of him. What are we doing? That was a bad decision. We should have just run it straight ahead with him. So do we attempt the field goal or go for it? Well, we're going for it. Jack Garola pulls it. He breaks a tackle and gets us a 1st down. We shouldn't have converted that. We got lucky. Jack Garola made a heck of a play there. So this drive continues. On 1st and 10, he finds Harrison Walls III, who steps out just shy of the end zone. So we decide to toss it to the edge, and Quantel walks in for 6. Florida's going to take a 2-possession lead in this game, going up 24-13. That's huge here late in the 3rd quarter. Hopefully that'll be enough to keep a little bit of a buffer there, so if we get a stop, we can feel confident that this game is over. Or if we get stopped, then we have a little bit of a buffer to hopefully keep that gap and not allow 2 scores for Auburn, and maybe pull off this upset and help us maybe be able to get back in the race for the East. As Auburn's moving the ball pretty well in this drive, J.D. Rhyme just took that for 8 yards, setting up a 3rd and 1. They have Talafus in the game, and down he goes. Nathan Osborne made the play, forcing a 4th and 3. And they're going to go for it, and I don't blame them. They hand it off to Rhyme, and he has nowhere to go. That's our safety, Miguel Mitchell, taking him down. That's the stop we needed. Now let's get some points on offense. Jack Garola pulls it and goes for 10. Actually, they call it 11. That's perfect. First down, Gators. Coach KJ's called a perfect game so far today on offense as Quantel Johnson gets a carry, and he's going to only take that for 1 before he gets hit. But that's going to bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Florida's leading this one 24-13, and they are in prime position to add more points on the board. I think a touchdown here seals it, and there'd be no way Auburn would come back. On 2nd and 9, we find Harrison Wallace III for a first down, I think. Yes, they call it a first down after a 10-yard pickup. On the next play, Jack Garola pulls it on a read option. He got a little bit ahead of himself and got caught up on Quantel Johnson. That's still another first down for the Gators, though. Coach KJ is just calling the perfect game. However, on that play, Jack Garola accidentally crossed the line of scrimmage, and that just messed up and only picked up 1. Garola's on the move again, and this time he's on the short side of the field, and it doesn't work out for him. He takes a sack and loses 2. He should have thrown that away. You got to be a little bit smarter about that. You also should run a play to the opposite side of the field like this. They threw a screen, it didn't work. We got our 2 yards back, but we were forced to settle for a field goal that went up and through. So it's 27-13. It's just a 2-touchdown lead right now. So that's not the best situation to be in. I only say that because we had a chance to go up by 3 scores, which would have put this game away in my opinion. But a 2-score lead's still good. Now we just got to stop Auburn. Ashford's going to hand it off. That's Talafus getting the carry, and he loses a yard. That's a great play by Nathan Osborne. He's been playing really well for us this season as Ashford hands it off. That's Talafus getting the carry, and he's fighting ahead. He ends up picking up just 3 on the play, though, so that sets him up with a 3rd and long. So, of course, they got to pass it, and Ashford, it looks like they're just going to run a screen to Kelly, and he looked like he might have had a chance, but Shamar James came through and made a great tackle for us. But they decide to go for it on 4th and 3, and Ashford, feeling some pressure, throws it, and that's broken up. Miguel Mitchell could have picked it off. He has 12 tackles in that deflection. He's been all over the field today. He looks like a stud for this Gators defense. We can close it out on this drive if we get any points at all. Harrison Wallace III goes for 9 on first down. Garola looking to pass here on 2nd down on the move. He stops and pops, and that's a wide open Malik Mega. He tries to step back just so he stays in bounds. That's why I did that. And that ends up being a big gain for us. We're inside of the red zone, so we should be able to close this one out. We're going to start draining this clock, and hopefully we just close it out quick here, and we don't even give Auburn the ball back at all. We'll see, though, as Quantel goes for 5 on 2nd down. That sets up a 3rd and 8, and honestly, we do the smart thing and just hand it off to Quantel Johnson, and he might get it, and he does. He gets the first down, giving us a 1st and goal. Now it's kind of weird because Auburn's using their timeouts, so we got to see if we can get a touchdown, but also we kind of don't want to get a touchdown, so we'll have to see how this works out as Jack Garola pulls it, and he goes down it, brings up a 3rd and goal for the Gators. But the good news is we're going to be able to keep draining the clock as we snap it with 1:24 left, and Garola's going to go in. Touchdown, Florida. They extend their lead up to 34-13. Auburn is going to get the ball back, but honestly, this one's over. Now they're just trying to rack up yards and put up some dummy stats, in my opinion. Ashford looking to throw it. They're down to 1:16 left. He takes his 2nd straight deep shot, and we almost close it out on an interception with Annie Bognom. He couldn't hold on to it, though. So now it's 2nd and 10. Ashford passing. He has an open Ross underneath. That'll get him a first down, and he gets out of bounds. That was a great play by Trent Ross. So Ashford just keeps looking to try to push it deep, and he does get the deep shot to Kelly that time. That's a big play for the Tigers. They might get some points and close this gap a little bit, but right there, J.J. White, the #1 defensive end recruit in the nation, comes through and gets the sack. Ashford, with 45 seconds left, is going to take a shot to the end zone. He has a man open, and that's a touchdown. Trenton Duffy comes down with it. That makes the score 34-20, so they have to attempt an onside kick. It all comes down to this. It's off, and it's going to be recovered by our center, Kirbyson, and he goes down. Florida is going to win this one. They wrap it up here. They're going to take their knee. 34-20 is your final today. The #15 Florida Gators pull off the upset versus the #5 Auburn Tigers. This is a big win for head coach Carter Jake Jr. Honestly, there's been a few questions. He struggled a little bit getting these Gators the big win that they need. He hasn't really had a signature moment, in my opinion. Knocking off Georgia last year was okay, but they had a backup quarterback. So this is a big win. This is by far their biggest win underneath Coach KJ. You'll love to see it. This is going to help hopefully get this season turned around following that very disappointing loss to LSU. that never should have happened. It just shouldn't have happened at all. Harrison Walsh III had a big day through the air with 9 catches for 101 yards and a score. And of course, Jack Garola was your player of the game. Like I said, Miguel Mitchell on defense all over the field, man. You love to see it. He was fantastic. Nathan Osborne deserves a lot of credit too. He had 2 TFLs and he's been doing really well in run defense this season. I'm quite proud of the growth he's actually shown for us. We have some young players stepping up and some players that were here prior to us that have really bought in, and they're doing great things for this Gator program. Looking at Auburn now, they had a bit of a disappointing day from Robbie Ashford, their Heisman candidate quarterback. In my opinion, this will drop him down the list from number 2. There's no way he stays that high. It was quite disappointing. I expected much more out of him. But on defense, Bridges had 10 tackles. He was good for them. 2 TFLs from Nate Blanchard, their defensive tackle. That's a really big play. They had Rhyme, who ran the ball and played on defense. He did good, including getting that interception. You'll love to see a guy who can play on both sides of the ball. It's just not something that's out there every day. You have Travis Hunter, you have Vaki from Utah in real life doing it right now. Now let's get into our head coach upgrade that we had. We, of course, went into the Saban factor or insta commit. And then on offense, we had Philip Montgomery, and we decided to go into the athlete after I think about it for a second, because I think that's going to help us the most. Taking a look at our Heisman standings, Jam Miller remains at number 1. Number 2, Mitch Lieberger moves up, and then Robbie Ashford did drop to number 3 like I predicted. There was no way he stayed that high. 4 is Kyle McCord, the QB from Ohio State, and 5 is Miles Montgomery, a halfback out of Cincinnati, and I believe that's the first time we've seen his name. So, taking a look at our top 25, we're still looking at the coaches poll. Penn State remains at number 1. Number 2 is Alabama, 3 is Ohio State, 4 is Oklahoma State, 5 is Miami, 6 is Middle Tennessee State. They're climbing with their undefeated record, and they're not a very good team. Auburn drops from 5 to 11 following their loss to us, and they only move us up 2, so I don't know if they held that against Auburn more than they gave us credit for that win. I know our upset loss to LSU is disappointing, but if you look on paper, other than record, they were a better team than us. They should have beat us. That's not an excuse, but it frustrates me they didn't give us a lot of credit for our win over a top 5 opponent. Moving out of the top 25 this week is Boston College and Utah, 2 teams that I actually root for along with the Gators. So next week, of course, we have the big one. We have the cocktail party. It's Florida, Georgia. We're going to be meeting in Jacksonville at Everbank Stadium, or whatever they call it nowadays. I forget. It's the Jaguars Stadium. And once again, Georgia's the better team. We come into it with the better offense, though, based on how many points we score and how many yards we get. But our defense is a little worse than theirs. Honestly, Georgia's just a much better team overall-wise than us. But I'm not afraid of them. Go Gators. Beat the dogs. I'll see you in the next one. This is LDJ11. Please like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and I'm out.
Welcome to my party. We're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car.